People are flipping out about what the Fed is doing to our economy right now. Everything's going down. Everyone thinks the real estate market is gonna crash. I am a real estate agent. This is my friend Cameron. He's a mortgage officer. Him and I have to help you buy a house. So I brought him in to help us go through the kind of the weeds of the data about what we're getting into about all of this jazz. Let's do this. Okay, so we're gonna get into a lot of different things today, but we're gonna start with sentiment in the market. What's happened in the past couple months, like 6 months or so, is the Fed has gradually raised interest rates. What does that mean for you as a buyer? It means that your payments go up every month. Now, a lot of people view this as a very bad thing, especially the media. There's tons of fear in the market and the media right now. You're hearing things like home prices are gonna crash, inventory's rising, rates are going up, you'll never be able to afford a home.
Home prices are going down. If you look at this graph, you can clearly see that the trend is going down. But if you just zoom out a little bit and look over the historical basis, what has home prices been doing? Home prices have been going up or long term. We are still at historical highs.
Now, we saw a lot of growth in the COVID boom during the pandemic. Interest rates were so historically low. They've never been so low.
Rates that low is because the Fed was printing trillions of dollars and we're all paying the
man now, baby. We're paying the inflation tax, and the Fed is rapidly trying to fight that, even though they printed all the money. Go figure.
Isn't it called the Biden tax?
It is called the Biden tax, but don't tell some of the people who watch this that we gotta be apolitical.
It's actually your benefit. So with the rising interest rates, this actually can benefit you because you can capitalize on this. Sellers are fearful. Their homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer than they were in the past years. They were expecting to get multiple offers and to sell super quick. Supply is going through the roof, and that's due to interest rates going way up. Interest rates make monthly payments more expensive, which decreases affordability.
So essentially, you as a buyer just have a lot more power now in the market because less people are going to be selling because they don't think they can get as much for their house. Texas has drastically changed from a hot seller's market to a pretty good buyer's market at this point. I wouldn't say steaming hot, but buyers are having a lot of opportunity now, so sellers have way less power in their homes. So what does that mean for you as a buyer? What do? Well, you're still looking at a higher rate than what you were looking at 2 years ago. You can always refinance your home. Listen, guys, you marry the house and you date your rate. If you're married to someone, you can have other girl. No, you don't. You marry your house. You're gonna be with your house for a long time, hopefully, unless you're like my parents, you end up getting divorced. But you date the rate. That means that you're not always locked into your rate. People look at their rates now, especially they go, well, I'm gonna have 7% for 30 years, it's gonna be fixed. No, 18 to 24 months, you can refinance your home. Fannie Mae speculates that rates will actually be around 4.5% by the end of 2023. So imagine if you just bought now, kept your home for a year and a half, and then in the middle of 2024, rates are at 4.5%, and you refinance, and then you're spending $700 less than you were now. But you could get a screaming discount on a home now because people are really freaking out.
If rates come down in the next 18 to 24 months, you can always refinance and get your payment to come down. But if rates do go down and you sit on the sidelines and don't buy right now, what will happen is we'll go right back in the last 2 years where people are overbidding, they're paying over asking price, and the housing market will go crazy again. So how can you as a buyer capitalize on this? The number one thing that I'm seeing buyers do right now is negotiate for a seller credit.
Oh.
With a seller credit from the lender side, we can do a lot with it. It gives us a lot of flexibility. You could buy down your interest rate. You could do a temporary interest rate buy down paid by the seller. Reduce your closing costs so you can get into the house with less money out of pocket. You can also have the seller do minor repairs and upgrades. You could even use the seller credit to pay down or pay off your high interest debt.
What he's talking about a buy down is that at the closing table, the seller can actually pay to buy down your interest rate. So instead of having a 7% rate, the seller could actually pay like $5,000 or something out of what they're making to buy down your rate to a 6% rate.
It's gonna make it a lot more affordable, so your monthly payment would come down, and guess what? You don't have to pay for it.
The seller's gonna pay, and that's what people don't understand is there's so much creativity and flexibility that you can use now to get into a home. You can essentially get free money from the seller right now.
Maybe we can pay off your credit card. Maybe you've got a $200 payment on your credit card. Well, if we can use that seller credit to go and eliminate your credit card that you're paying $200 a month for, you're in a better position financially.
I'm talking to a lot of buyers now, personally that I have, that have said, well, I'm just gonna wait a couple more months. And I plead with them. I'm like, no, it's not time to wait. It's time to get in the game and buy. I'm personally buying houses here myself to rent out. When rates go down, there's gonna be another frenzy here. everything shows that. Inventory being low, rates going back down, there's still being an ample amount of opportunity for people in the market now to purchase. People are catching deals. We have offered 30 grand under on homes here and gotten them. Where in the last 2 or 3 years, you were offering 10, 15, 20, 30 grand over asking price on a home and still missing out on it. If you're a glass half empty kind of person, you're commenting on my video right now saying, oh, don't listen to this guy. He doesn't always talk about just wait for the market to crash. I know what I'm talking. If you're a glass half full kind of guy, you're saying there's so much opportunity right now. I'm going to get it. The real estate market's not going to crash. If I believe that, then I won't go and buy real estate right now. But if I don't, I'm going to do what I can do. Maybe even just save. Set yourself up so that you can buy in the future. We're not saying you have to buy now. There's not all this pressure on you or anything. I'm just saying it's still a good investment. And we're trying to tell you guys not to listen to what the narrative of the media is telling you. A great quote by the renowned Warren Buffett. He says, when everyone is fearful, be greedy, and when everyone's greedy, be fearful. I would say that the market sentiment right now is relatively insanely fearful.
All you're seeing is negativity in the market. This is the time to buy. Everybody's fearful, you can get a deal on stuff. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin's at $60,000, everybody's buying it, everybody's doing that. But right now, when it's $20,000,
no one's
where's all the TikTok videos about buying Bitcoin?
And you could sit there and type and say, well, we think that you guys are only trying to get sales, and that's why we're doing this. That's not the only reason. Look, I'm invested personally in Lubbock, and I'm still buying houses right now. I would not ever tell you guys to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So the people sitting on the sidelines right now in the real estate market are losing out and missing big opportunities. We are consistently still buying real estate in Lubbock. If you choose not to buy, but you're moving to Lubbock or Texas and you choose to rent, well, what do renters not do, Cameron?
Make any money.
They don't build any wealth. Renters historically do not build any intrinsic wealth over time as opposed to people who actually own real estate property. We see comments all the time on our videos, wait for the market to crash. This guy's just selling you guys and rent, for a year before we decide to buy. Well, what if the market doesn't crash? It's only gonna be harder for you to buy in a year, and you're gonna still have lost what, $24,000 maybe if you're paying $2 grand a month in rent? That's a lot of money that you could be paying towards your house. Besides that, some of the benefits of home ownership is you get things like, which are really cool, it's like a gift you get every year, appreciation, which compounds every year. Leverage, which means you don't have to put so much money down, you can put a little bit down and borrow the rest, and that pays for itself.
Tax deductions.
Yeah, you can deduct taxes on your primary residence.
You also get flexibility with your investments, so you can turn it into a rental to start generating some passive income. Tell me one other asset class that can get all that you get with real estate.
You can't do that stuff with the stock market. You have to pay capital gains tax when you sell. So real estate by and large is a really safe investment. So now we're gonna talk about our old bread and butter, the city I live in now, Lubbock, Texas, the one we know and love.
One of the big things you have to understand about real estate is it is very location dependent. What's happening in Phoenix might not be happening in Lubbock. When the media is talking about real estate, or even social media for that example, they're talking about the macro. They're looking at the country as a whole. They are not looking at the micro. They're not looking at Lubbock, Texas for this example, or even Texas for that matter. They're not zooming in and seeing what is the home prices doing, what is the economic drivers, what is economic growth, what happens during a recession in this specific city. It would be impossible.
So what we've seen is that prices have steadily increased and really not decreased at all over the past 15, 20 years. Even in 2008, you saw a plateau of prices. You didn't see a strict dip, you just saw a plateau. People always talk about supply and demand in real estate, which it absolutely means something. It means everything in economics. In 2008, Lubbock had 4,000 homes for sale on the market. In 2022, even now with rates going up, we have 1,000 homes on the market. That means that there was a lot less activity here. Now you've shredded that number by like 80%. Lubbock's grown anywhere from 10 to 12% in the last 15 years. We're poised to have around 500,000 people in the year 2035, which is a lot. So there's a lot more activity here. There's more money moving here. If you just look at basic supply and demand, that goes to show you that the economics of real estate are still strong because we actually have less homes on the market now than we did. If you have any questions whatsoever about moving here, give me a call. It's right here. Thanks so much for watching the video. Thank you, Cameron at Fairway Mortgage. Here's his info right here. He is my mortgage guy. He will be calling you. No, he won't. Just see you guys later. Bye. All right.